Alright guys, welcome back to 243 Outdoors. It's been about 3 weeks since I filmed a video out here. It's full-fledged farming season, so I had to take down the range this week. And if I want to shoot, I got to bring everything out here. I drove around the whole block. There's no farmers on this block, so we ought to be good today. They did a little bit of spraying this morning, but I think everything's fine. So today we're going to be getting the 223 back out. I did take the Vortex Viper off the 1903 and I put it on this 223. This is the Savage Axis. Today we're going to be shooting Hornady match 68 grain bullets. We're using Varget and accurate 2230. We got some test charges loaded up, and I'll put them on the screen here and let you know what we're shooting. So we're shooting 100 yards today. It's about 60 degrees and we have a tailwind coming behind me. Shouldn't affect our groups or anything, but the wind might be making some noise in the microphone. If it does, I apologize. But let's get started here today. I'm going to start out shooting Varget, 23.5 grains. The 73 grain ELDs weren't shooting as good as I'd like them to. So backing this down to 68 grain is more in line with this twist rate of 1:9. So let's get started. These are loaded by the book, 2.25, 0 overall length, using Federal Champion brass and a CCI small rifle primer. Just shooting 4-shot groups today. Had a 27.46 average, standard deviation of 40. So we're going up to 24 grains of Varget. We had a 28.21 average and a standard deviation of 15. So we're going to jump up 0.5 of a grain to 24.5. .2862 average and a standard deviation of 9. So our last group for Varget will be 25 grains. We had a 29.17 average and a standard deviation of 16. So our next 4 test charges will be with accurate 2230. We'll do 22.5, go up half grain increments to 24 grains. The last charge of Varget is starting to crater the primer just a little bit. So we're probably approaching pressure on that. That is max charge for the book. Let's try our 2230. This is 22.5 grains. Alright, that's what we're looking for. 27.99 and a standard deviation of 18. So let's jump up to 23 grains of 2230. .2862 and a standard deviation of 16. So let's go up to 23.5. 28.62 terrible. 2910 average and a standard deviation of 19. So this will be our last group of the day, 24 grains of accurate 2230. We popped a primer on that one, so we're at pressure. And that's kind of surprising because we're at the max load the book calls for. We'll go ahead and shoot these, but probably shouldn't. Yep, we are showing some pressure. This will be our last shot. Yeah, that group was kind of all over the place. We're just below 3,000 feet per second. We had a 2960 average, standard deviation of 9. So the groups I thought would be a little bit better today. We'll go back to the reloading room and measure everything out and give you some final thoughts. Alright, so this is the Hornady manual, and if you go to 223, it only goes up to 60 grain bullets. So the data I used today is the 223 Remington service rifle data, which is basically a 5.56, which is why we had some overpressure on some rounds. So just be aware of that. Varget's max charge in here was 24.9, and we run 25 grains, and realistically probably 24 should have been max. And then the 2230, the max charge is 24.2. We loaded 24, and probably the 23 would have been max, on my opinion. So just be careful when you're kind of working these harder loads. Alright, let's start with our Varget target. 23.5 grains got us a 27.46 average velocity and a 40 on the standard deviation. This was the worst standard deviation of all of them. I felt the chronograph was doing a pretty good job today. The numbers all seem pretty accurate to me and somewhat close, so each charge went up each velocity went up as the charge did, so really I didn't have nothing to really complain about on the chronograph. Our first group was an 1.5 inch group, nothing to brag about there at 23.5. We jumped up a half a grain to 24. We had a 28.21 average, and our standard deviation got a lot better at 15. We jumped up to 24.5 grains, and we're just a hair over an inch. We had a 28.62 average, and our standard deviation dropped down to 9. So really, if we deleted that first shot, that's a probably about a 0.6 group, roughly. So there could be something there. Jumping up to 25 grains, we had a 29.17 average, 16 on the standard deviation, and we're still just right over an inch. Shot 1 and shot 3 went in the same hole. So let's jump over to our 2230 target. Started out excellent, 27.99 average, standard deviation with the 18. We're at a 1/2 inch group at 22.5 grains. So I will definitely load up some more of this and we'll do some more testing here shortly. Jumping up to 23 grains, we had a 28.62 average, 16 on the standard deviation. We are just a hair under an inch. Going up another 1/2 grain, 23.5, we had a 29.10 average, 19 on the standard deviation. We are just under an inch again. If we deleted out that shot 1, that's about a 0.5, actually probably just under a 0.5 group. And our last charge of 24 grains got us 29.60, 9 on the standard deviation, and the shots were everywhere. This is where we started really showing pressure. Realistically, both of these are over what I would call max loads, and probably 23 would be absolute max you'd want to load. So, and then also on the Varget, probably that 25 was awful hot. That one there's probably manageable, and 24 is probably your safe bet on the max charge. Alright, so that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I want to thank all the Patreon supporters for their support and what we do here. I want to remind everyone to check the links in the description below. We got a Patreon link, a Facebook link, and don't forget about the Reloaders Network. So that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you later.